Sometimes we're conditioned to think that generosity has to mean writing a massive check or buying expensive gifts. But the truth is, the most memorable acts of kindness rely on intentionality, not a huge bank account. Today, I'm going to talk about frugal generosity. And I have 21 practical, clever ways to be ridiculously generous, whether you have $0 to spare or just a little bit of extra change. I'm Joy of Frugal Creative Living, and being frugal does not mean being stingy. In fact, some of the most generous people on the planet are the ones who know exactly what it feels like to struggle. So if you've ever wanted to give more or felt limited by your bank account, keep watching, because I've got some tips to help you turn giving from a stressful random event into an effortless habit and a core part of who you are. Create a tiny giving buffer. One reason that people struggle to give consistently is because they only think about generosity in an emotional and random way. But frugal people understand systems and intentionality and pre-planning. Just try setting aside $1 a week or your spare change or rebate money or some cashback rewards or the occasional $5 bill that you find at the bottom of your purse. This just creates a small giving fund over time, and trying to help somebody directly out of your regular grocery budget can feel stressful, especially if you're already having a tough time stocking your own pantry. But when your budget is already intentionally set up for giving, it feels way more doable. Budget giving like a real category. And this one is a little bit psychological. Instead of thinking I'll give if I magically have extra money, you can shift your mindset to giving is one of the jobs that my money does. Even if it's a very small category in your budget, that pre-thought and intentionality changes everything. Make your giving automatic. When it comes to money, automatic systems for me always works best. And the things I don't have to think about are the things that don't get missed, which then automatically builds consistency. And you can use apps like Acorn or Chime, which allow roundups where your purchases round to the nearest dollar, and then that spare change is automatically saved or routed to the charity of your choice. Personally, my giving to my church is automated, and I can see it come out every week. I'm aware of it, but I don't have to try to remember to do it. Automation just removes the emotional drama and the constant questioning of, do I have enough this week? Because it's already built in. Set a generosity percentage. And this doesn't have to be a rigid or kind of legalistic amount. It's giving. It's not a fee for service. So you can just decide to set aside maybe 1% of your side hustle income, or the first $10 that you make from Facebook Marketplace, or a percentage of your cashback rewards and rebate savings. Just designate that money for your giving pot, and it creates that intentional generosity without a lot of pressure. Sponsor one small need. You might not be able to donate hundreds of dollars, but you might be able to just buy one pack of diapers for a new mom, or pay for someone's laundry at the laundromat, or put some gas in somebody's car, or buy school supplies for one kid, maybe at your kid's school or in your neighborhood or at church. Those specific smaller needs are often more manageable for you and immediately impactful for the person receiving them. Pay for somebody else's tiny everyday luxury. And this could be as simple as covering the coffee for the person behind you in line, or you could buy a really nice sweater for somebody that you found at a thrift store, or maybe grab a fast food meal for an exhausted mom that you see at the mall. Small comforts become huge comforts during hard seasons, and you never know what people are really going through. Split giving with friends and family. So maybe there's a cause that you would love to support every month, but you can't afford the whole amount on your own. You can create a giving group with some of your friends or family where you pull small amounts of money together to accomplish a whole lot. If you have 5 people giving $10 each month, that $50 can buy a family some groceries, or help with their utility assistance, or buy birthday gifts, or maybe even provide an emergency hotel stay after a fire, or just cover some basic household necessities. So those small amounts of money coming together can be so powerful. Use your rewards points for giving. A lot of people just let their rewards points expire, or they just sit unused forever. And while it's great to use them to get free stuff for yourself, as I often do, another awesome option is using them for others. And you can use your grocery rewards to buy food for somebody else, or cashback apps or drugstore rewards or even credit card points just to buy some practical items for other people. One of the things that I've done in the past is during Easter or Thanksgiving time, my supermarket will give out free hams and turkeys if you spend a certain amount of money in a certain period of time. And instead of using those free turkeys and hams for myself, I just donate the turkey or the ham to somebody who's in need in the community. And you can also use your birthday freebies. Imagine taking a friend who's struggling financially out for a meal when you have a birthday coupon and you can pay for yourself and then let them eat for free. Give what saves someone else future money. And this is a very frugal-minded way of being generous. You can gift things like reusable water bottles to help somebody save on individual plastic bottles or save on buying convenience foods when they're on the go. You can buy them some pantry staples or blackout curtains to help lower their utility bills. Freezer containers are good. You can buy them a slow cooker or even a transit bus pass for the week. These types of gifts don't just help temporarily, they continue to save that person money into the future. Give anonymously. Sometimes quiet generosity means the most. One thing that keeps some of us from giving financially is the fear that our small amount will seem insignificant and that people are going to judge us for only giving a little bit. If you give anonymously, then that judgment disappears. You can just put the money in an envelope, write "this is for you" with the person's name on the front and then slide it in their bag, but don't put your name on it. It could be a grocery gift card that you privately slide into someone's hand, or just pay for a meal anonymously, or maybe even leave some supplies on a person's porch. I remember that happening when I was a kid. Growing up, and my family was going through a really tough time financially, and somebody came and they just left bags of groceries on our porch. It was a tremendous blessing for our family of 6. And sometimes a gift that's given anonymously is even more special for the recipient because it removes that underlying feeling of the obligation to pay the giver back. Share leftover event food. The amount of perfectly good food that gets thrown away after family gatherings or office lunches or church events, birthday parties, it is painful. I hate seeing food go to waste. And just be the person with the containers. Grab some inexpensive meal containers from the Dollar Tree and pack up some of those leftovers. Make sure you grab some utensils and napkins, maybe a canned soda or bottled water, and take that meal to somebody in your community that you know is struggling, or to somebody experiencing homelessness that you always see on your drive home. For your event, it was just extra food, but to another person, it could mean that they get to eat that night. Create mini blessing bags. And these don't have to be big fancy baskets. I'm just talking about regular practical items that people can actually use. And you can pull together unused things that you already have around the house. It could be individually wrapped tea bags or hot cocoa packets or granola bars. And I always have an extra stock up of tissues, especially in cold and flu season. So you can just grab a box of tissues and maybe a bottled water, maybe print or handwrite an encouraging note and put it all into a nice looking small gift bag. And this is wonderful for homeless outreach, elderly neighbors, or anyone going through a difficult season. And you can also use organizations like feedingamerica.org to find out what the specific local needs are in your community and ways that you can help. Donate items that save people time. Time is money, particularly when people are stressed or struggling. You can prep some freezer meals or put together some labeled pantry bundles. And you can also create some ready-to-use care kits. When you do this, you're not just giving stuff, you're giving convenience and reducing someone else's decision fatigue. And honestly, sometimes that's the bigger gift. Create a blessing shelf. And this is one of the most frugal ways to give because you can build it slowly over time. Just start pulling together clearance toiletries that you come across at the store. Maybe they're the ones where the deal is just too good to pass up, even if it's not the brand that you personally use. You can add items from buy one, get one free sales or free samples that you pick up at events or health fairs. It can be pantry overflow or some coupon deals. And then when somebody needs help, you can already have those practical items ready to go into the blessing bags without scrambling financially. Give people your time during stressful moments. Sometimes the greatest thing you can give somebody is pure relief. Think about helping someone someone clean their kitchen after a surgery, or babysitting for an exhausted parent, or simply sitting with a grieving friend, or maybe it's helping a neighbor who just experienced a loss, or helping an elderly neighbor organize a room. It might not feel like a big thing to you, but to the person on the receiving end, that kind of action is a point of generosity that they're going to remember forever. And in stressful situations, even tiny tasks feel gigantic. Donate convenience. People tend to think that giving and generosity always involves buying things or giving money, but convenience itself is a gift. And we know that there's value in it because we're constantly spending extra money for our own convenience. And it can be something as simple as picking the trash cans up from the curb for your neighbor, or offering to help your neighbor assemble some furniture after you saw it just got delivered. Just running a quick errand can take an enormous mental load off of somebody's shoulders when they're feeling overwhelmed. Become the connector. Sometimes you don't personally have the resource that somebody needs, but you know the person who does have the resource. And you might know somebody who's willing to babysit for someone, or a side hustle that can bring in extra money for them, or a reliable and affordable mechanic. Maybe you know somebody that's hiring, or where somebody can get free food from a food pantry, or where they can get some free furniture. Just connecting people to the resources that they need is incredibly valuable, and it costs you nothing. Give genuine public encouragement. And this one is something that can be easily overlooked, but leaving positive reviews, maybe for a startup business, or recommending a local service provider, or commenting on somebody's content, just like so many of you do on this channel, which is a huge blessing to me. So thank you. Publicly encouraging somebody's work can genuinely help them both emotionally and financially. It costs you $0, but it can help them make more money. And it's non-monetary on your side, but it's monetary on theirs. Support is a real form of generosity. Give things away before they become junk. We all have those things sitting around the house that we're saving for just in case. And meanwhile, the items haven't been touched in over 10 years. If you know realistically that you're not using something, release it to someone else while it still has value. It could be duplicate kitchen gadgets, or maybe an extra bundle of blankets, or some pantry items, clothes, storage containers. Somebody else may need those right now while they're just sitting in your house taking up space. Normalize small generosity. Sometimes we feel like because we only have a little bit to give, or a little bit of something we can do, that we shouldn't do anything at all. But trust me, a little bit goes a whole lot further than nothing at all. Generosity is not measured by size. It's measured by the usefulness, thoughtfulness, and the love behind it. And honestly, some of the most generous people are the ones who know exactly what it feels like to need help. Remember that financial giving is not a competition. Frugal generosity is the most beautiful because it comes from a place of careful stewardship and genuine empathy, and people can feel that. If you want help turning generosity into an actual habit instead of just a random idea you have once every few months while watching an inspirational video and eating crackers in bed, I created a free downloadable list of easy ways to give, even on a tight budget. And you can print that out, stick it on your fridge, or you can add these ideas to your calendar so that generosity becomes proactive instead of accidental. Because the ultimate goal is to turn giving from just something you do into something you are. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with somebody that you believe will also find it useful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.